like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is stuck. She said, but you can tell because it's pitch black dark in the middle of the night when the car comes down the street, turns onto Stafford, sits there for about 3 to 5 minutes. The flashlights are coming from 2 different directions in between the yards. They do whatever they're doing around the car. The car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. I'm sorry, backs up Kellen and leaves.
What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's video is a big one. We're going to be breaking down the surveillance footage that was released early on in the Sebastian Rogers case. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen this, but I'm going to break it down in ways and show you things that you may have not noticed before. And I've also got some interviews that also break down what allegedly happened that night. And in my opinion, after seeing this footage and what I'm about to break down and debunk, I believe this may have a connection to Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. I do not think it's a coincidence that we have these strange lights and an unidentified vehicle, for those that have not heard that before, the same night that Sebastian Rogers disappeared. So stay tuned, please stay until the end, and thank you so much for watching.
About midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he went in here.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So this is Sebastian Rogers' neighborhood. And there is where the Rogers, Proudfoot home located here. And this is the house that has the surveillance camera, located here. The camera points this direction. In footage, we can see multiple vehicles parked in the driveway. Now the vehicles are parked different from how they were in the footage. So here's an example of how they were parked. Now in the footage there are multiple objects, so I'm going to break down each one. We can see this white outline of something on the bottom. This is actually the driver's side window and trim from the white truck being lit up by the floodlights. What I did here is take the original screenshot of the footage zoomed out and the overlay, the actual footage that was filmed, and show you how that lines up. Now notice things shake around a bit. I'm going to explain why I believe things are a bit shaky in this footage. So I believe that either the homeowner or the reporter came over, had them zoom in on the footage, and recorded it with a cell phone. And because of that, their hand was not steady, and this caused the footage to be a bit shaky, and it explains why the quality seems to be degraded a bit. For some reason, law enforcement and the family tell the public that these lights have no major value to the case, and have even claimed they are lights from a garbage truck. Let's listen to a short clip from an officer talking about the lights. Notice the strange answer he gives.
Foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see 2 suspicious light sources, which we've circled here, in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
Since we have a screenshot of the footage fully zoomed out, we can do some simple measurements using basic science to determine where the objects are located. Notice the hood of the truck in the top left. If we take a straight line from the hood, we can see that the 2 lights at the top, which have been assumed to be floodlights. And using this line, we can determine that those lights cannot be any higher than the hood of that truck. Using this method, we can determine exactly where those lights are coming from. So looking at where that truck was parked that night, seen in this overview, photo here taken the day of, we can then use a Google Street image and line up approximately where that truck was parked. Notice we add the red line and look at where it takes us. There is a house exactly across the street. This house is next to the Rogers residence. This home has its garage facing towards the camera. It also has 3 garage doors on it. Guess what? That's right, it has floodlights above each garage door. So here, I am taking a street Google view of the direction of the camera and then adding the security footage overlaid into the Google image. And notice how the floodlights do line up with the image. But because the footage itself was filmed with a phone, it is a bit shaky and doesn't always line up. But this does give you an example of where everything is taking place. The lights labeled as subject 1 and 2 are moving across the 2 yards. So the big question is, are they flashlights or something else? And where are they coming from exactly, and where are they going to? What I'm about to show you next will shock you to your core, because the angle of the camera is not quite level with the street. I realized that in order to match up the footage and image correctly, it needed to be tilted a bit to match the angle of the camera footage, and by doing this, literally put all the pieces to the puzzle together. And what you're about to see, in my opinion, is exactly what happened that night, and pay close attention to where those lights are coming from. I also fixed the footage the best I can to keep the floodlights lined up with the garage. Notice we can see subject 1 just behind the house to the right. Then we see subject 2 literally come out from behind the house to the left. This subject literally came from the yard shared by the Proudfoot's home. As subject 2 heads towards subject 1, we noticed that the light disappears right behind the gazebo between the 2 homes. As we continue to watch, notice that it seems like subject 1 is waiting for subject 2 to get closer, as if guiding this person to a car waiting nearby. Noticed as we wait for subject 2 to reappear, we see that subject 1 now moves behind the home to the right, and we cannot see them anymore. Then we see subject 2 reappear to the right of the gazebo. Noticed as subject 2 moves to the right, there are trees, and the light shimmers as it moves closer to the home on the right. I believe this is not a coincidence that Rogers goes missing the same night that around 3 a.m. Lights are coming from the direction of Rogers' home and the neighbor mentioning an unidentified vehicle parked on the street nearby. Here is me zooming in on where subject 2 is coming out from, and noticed it clearly pops out just behind the home to the left, the same yard that's shared by the Proudfoot's home. In my opinion, I believe this footage shows the potential abduction of Rogers. Here is a quick clip by the neighbor explaining that there is an unidentified car parked nearby when these lights are moving around.
The flashlights are coming from 2 different directions in between the yards. They do whatever they're doing around the car. The car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. Backs up Kellen and leaves. And then 2 or so hours later, as the sun is just beginning to come up, you can see the trash truck. And she said, but the trash truck goes past her driveway. She said, you can see the trash truck and the lights and the back of the truck go past her driveway, go up the hill, do its business, turn around, come back down. And then within a few minutes later, the sun is coming up, and then you can.
If you would like to hear the whole interview by the neighbor, the link is down in the description below. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I worked really hard putting this together, so if you can, please smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel.